essentially, I'm just gonna kind of go and tell you some embarrassing stories from when I was a kid. Because, as I think the young people are still saying, I was pretty cringe when I was younger. Like, a lot younger. So today I'm just gonna be, like I said, telling you some of those stories. So we'll start with the first story. And the first story is how I messed up my shin, and where there is now a pretty distinct probably this big of a hole on my well, it's not a hole, let me rephrase, not a hole, but you can just where the wound is, that's how big the wound is. So pretty much, again, I don't remember exactly what age I was, but I want to say that this had to have been close to third, fourth grade, I would guess, around that time. So my older cousin was at the house, and we decided to play hockey in my bedroom, since I had wooden floors. So what we did was we picked up two of curtain rods, little iron ones. They're pretty thin, typically white, but they're metal. So since it had kind of that L hook, we just used those as the actual hockey sticks. And then for our puck, we used a bottle cap, from a plastic bottle, a soda bottle. So essentially, we were just playing one-on-one, hockey in my bedroom. So what ended up happening was I was trying to score a goal, and I honestly don't remember exactly how it happened. I want to say that I tripped, but I tripped, and the L part of the stick hit the wall, my bedroom wall, and that caused the end part, which is pretty sharp, because it was the end that would typically go into the other curtain rod to connect. So that one ended up jabbing into my shin, and I started bleeding a lot from my shin, just from the force of how hard I hit it. And it's a shin, it's a shin, there's not much padding there as far as fat or anything really. It's the shin bone. So I definitely got in trouble for playing. And then I just remember, so my grandpa, so again, I've mentioned this before, but I was raised by my grandma. It was just me and her who lived in the house. My grandpa lived somewhere else, but he was pretty close, so I don't remember if he was over there already at the time or if my grandma called him over. But they essentially had to calm me down as much as they could, which that didn't really work. But they had to clean out the wound. So I just remember them pulling out the hydrogen peroxide and dabbing it, and it hurting so much. It made me cry more, and they essentially had to hold me down, my cousin and my grandma, while my grandpa tried to clean out the wound. Yeah, it sucked, and I got in trouble. And yeah, so again, you're gonna kind of see a reoccurring theme here as far as me doing stupid stuff. Because my next story is about the time that I accidentally set my room on fire. Essentially, again, this had to have been fourth grade-ish. was just like another lady, so like I wasn't really interested since I was a little kid. So I just went to my room, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I just got a candle. I got the candle, turned it on, and then I was taking pieces of notebook paper and just like, catching them on fire. And then like I would like throw them on the ground, since again they had like a wooden floor. Throw them on the ground, and then they would like go out. Whatever. Well, I don't know how I did it, other than I am really good at being bad. And not bad in a good way, I mean bad as in like a bad way. So I did that. So I set that piece of paper on fire. I threw it on the ground. And instead of just like going out when it hit the ground, it actually ended up sliding a bit. And it slid to my, I'm not gonna say mattress, my sheets. So like a part of my sheets was like hanging down from the bed. And it just so happened to like land right there, so it caught that on fire. And I remember freaking out. So what I did was my bedroom was right next to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom and grabbed like a cup or something and like filled it up with water to go try and like get it out, but it was like spreading really fast. So what ended up happening was my grandma ended up calling our neighbors, who just like were essentially just brought over like buckets of water and helped put that out. Needless to say, I got my butt whipped, and I totally deserved it. I mean, I almost could have set the whole house on fire. So yeah, that was my last time playing with fire. That's not true, but it is the only time that I've unintentionally set something on fire. Unintentionally. My next story, oh man, okay. So this was a little bit like earlier elementary, so I'm guessing probably like first grade-ish. What happened was we were in between like class, just taking like a bathroom break. So we were in the bathroom, and then at our school at the time, I don't remember if there wasn't any at all, or if there were only like X amount of like urinals, but I just remember for sure there being like essentially like one big trough, where you would just stand up to it, and then you know how that works. But anyway, so I was there going to the bathroom, peeing, obviously, yeah. Anyways, I'm not even gonna go there. So yeah, I'm there peeing, and like I legit cannot tell you what happened, other than like I lost control. To say that I lost control, and sorry, so I lost control, and I actually ended up peeing on I'm sorry, I ended up peeing on the little kid next to me, and like I totally did not mean to, but it's something that happened, and I remember that I obviously got in trouble for that. I had to go to the principal's office, and I remember them asking me, like, why did you do this? And I just remember the little kid me being like, I didn't mean to. I don't remember if this was my exact phrasing, but I remember I said something along the lines of like, it just kind of slipped out of my hand. And it's the truth. I did not. Why would I be on another kid for fun, But yeah, oh god, little kid V was something else. I'll just say that. So our next one is this was again early elementary. I almost want to say like kindergarten, probably, honestly. But it wasn't so much an experience as much as a dream I had that just, for whatever reason, best guess is that it was coming up on the beginning of the school year. Because essentially, what I dreamt was that like I had gotten to school and like I was going into my classroom, and then I just remember seeing my stuffed monkey. So back when I was little, I had like a stuffed like gray monkey whose name was obviously Monkey. Yeah, he was like my, you know, whatever you want to call it, my like my stuffy. It was my stuffy. But yeah, in my dream, Monkey was in the like a classroom, just, it was, you know, just normal size. It wasn't moving or anything. It's not like it was alive. But then all of a sudden, outside, so it was sunny, and then all of a sudden it started to get like cloudy and lightning, and then like Monkey starts moving, which freaks me out, as I think it would freak anybody out if an inanimate object just decided to like start moving. But not only did it start like moving and walking towards me, but it actually started like getting giant. Like it started like growing until like it was like as tall as like the ceiling of the room. And like oh my god, I remember that scarred me. I still kept my stuffy. I still kept it. But just that dream, like in general, just like really messed with me. I may or may not have been like side-eyeing my stuffy after that for a little bit, just like, I see you. No, I see you. And kind of keeping with the like theme of me being a scaredy cat, because I was when I was little. Some could argue now too, but that's besides the point. I remember. So for this, this was specifically from when it was like Halloween time, which I guess is appropriate given that time, although I didn't do that consciously. Anyways, in our cafeteria, when we went around to the area where we actually picked up our food, I remember one year that they had up a cartoon Frankenstein, like it was like a pin up that they pinned up to the door. That was like a cartoon Frankenstein, and I remember that scaring the life out of me. Like it got to the point that I'm almost positive they took it down because like I would not get near it. And yeah, again, I mean this was elementary school. It's not like it was some like lifelike kind of like Frankenstein. It was literally like one of those big like cartoon like Frankenberry looking like Frankensteins. But yeah, it scared the lights out of me. So like I said, I'm pretty sure they had to take it out. If they didn't take it down, then they must have at least brought me my lunch, but it was something along those lines. Yeah, I was just really scared of it. And again, continuing on with me being scared. There was also in art class, our art teacher had a like, I don't know if it was like a sculpture or if it was like a puppet that he made. I don't remember. But it was something called the Purple Herbal Turple. Purple Herbal Turple. Purple Herbal Turple. And essentially what it kind of looked like was like if you took a bunch of like melted purple crayons and like kind of made like a little like slime monster. Like I guess the best way I could probably put it is like imagine Grimer, but if it was like less of like just a mound of like, you know, not sauce, what's the word I'm looking for? Slime. But with more like human-like. And that was the Purple Herbal Turple. And this one, I don't know, I think it was just unsettling to me as a kid, but I would not get near the thing. Now, thankfully, this isn't something that he pulled out every day, Yeah, and that's pretty much the whole story on that one. I was just scared of like this, like tiny, because it wasn't even that big. Like it was maybe a foot and a half, like tall at that. But like it scared me. So like I was just like, nope. So I said Audi, and I just moved to the back of the classroom anytime it came out. The next story, again, has to do with school. Has to do with lunch. Now, this was... it was definitely after the Frankenstein, but it was still elementary. Essentially what happened was, I gave myself a big boo-boo. Basically, again, in line with, our trays, getting lunch, and for lunch that day was chili. So, again, I don't know who to blame this on. I'm the little kid. I'm gonna assume it was my fault, since, little kids are clumsy. But when they were handing me the chili bowl, it somehow flipped, or I knocked it over or something, and it got all over my chest. And yeah, it burned me pretty bad. I don't honestly remember a lot of the aftermath on that one. But I just remember after that, I was so careful with chili. I almost want to say I didn't get it for whenever we had it for lunch. I'd be like, nah, homie, I'm good, and then just eat everything else but the chili, just because I didn't want to relive that trauma. Now I've gotten over it since, because now I love chili. I still love chili. But yeah, no, I burned myself pretty bad with that school chili back in the day. So back when I was in early elementary, not even early elementary, but elementary. Our school did a thing where we would be able to submit stories that they would publish in one big a book that just had a bunch of stories that were written by students. They stopped doing it. I don't remember exactly when, but I remember they let anybody submit stories K through 12. So again, this was elementary. Don't remember exactly when. But I remember that I submitted a story for the book, and they actually initially rejected it. So I submitted a story for the book, but it got rejected for being too violent. Essentially, from what I remember from the story, it was about a group of people, friends, visiting an island. And on the island there was a volcano, and that volcano ended up erupting, and only a few people made it off the island, so some didn't make it off the island. And that was pretty much the gist of it. I mean, again, I was second grade when I wrote it. It was not I had a whole lot to it, but yeah, I just remember being oh yeah, one of my friends didn't make it. And I remember the feedback being something along the lines of, maybe next time write a happy story instead of one where somebody gets murked. And my last kind of embarrassing story had to do with when I was in high school. For one of my classes, media literacy. One of our last major projects was to do a little video over something of our choosing. Well, at that time, me and two of my best friends were really into professional wrestling, so we decided to do a professional wrestling match, kind of WWE style, for the project. So essentially what we did is we filmed promos leading up to the match, and then we also filmed the match itself. So for the match itself, we went over to a friend's house. I don't remember whose it was, but they had a like doing commentary while me and my friend wrestled. And I just remember it being like so fun a time. Because we got on the like trampoline and we were doing like the moves, and we got like a very thin like piece of like plywood, maybe I don't remember exactly what it was, but we set it up like a table, and like one of us like went through the table, and like it was really fun to film. But yeah, we ended up like shooting all that. I remember the big thing with that was editing it, because I had a computer at that time, but like, it wasn't digital. It was on like the actual physical tape. So remember, I ran out of time in the like before the project was due to like try to get it on a computer. So I like jerry rigged a way to like edit. Essentially what I did was I was able to like what was on the tape to somehow get it to display on the like on the TV. So like I would do that. So I would do that and play that on the TV, and then I would use a separate camcorder to like record that, and then like I would essentially kind of like make cuts as I needed to. So it was really bad way of editing. Considering that we had access to computers at school, but that's the way that I did it. And I remember the feedback coming back from the teacher, who essentially was like, yo, you guys made that way too long, but like at least you were really passionate about what you were doing. I don't even remember what grade we got on it, but I just remember like being really proud of it. I wish I could find that recording, although that has to be long gone. It was on a tape that was like constantly being like overwritten with new stuff, so like, yeah, it's long gone, but it was horribly good. Horrible, because, I mean, come on, we were high schoolers with like little camcorders with no editing or anything, but it was still really fun. And that's my last embarrassing story for today. Believe you me, I'm already thinking of new ones for next time. But I want to thank you for watching. Click subscribe if you liked, like it if you liked.